So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the changes I plan on making to the airplane. I've been flying it for a little over a year now. I've got over 200 hours, flight hours in it. A lot of things I like about it. It's a lot of fun to fly. But there are a few things I'm thinking I could improve on as far as the cabin layout goes. So I'm going to rearrange some stuff in the console here. The stuff that's in the center of the console, I'm going to move out to the side. And what I found was that a central part of the way that I operate the aircraft kind of revolves around what I get from an application called ForeFlight. It's a program that allows a lot of mapping features and information about that you can use to manage your flight with. And so normally when I'm using ForeFlight on a tablet, I use this iPad Pro. I mount it on a RAM mount that's over here, and it covers up most of the right side of my panel, and it's in front of the face of my co-pilot. So what I'm going to do primarily is I'm going to move this back into the center of the console, and I'm going to move a lot of this stuff back over to the right side. And so I made this mount, and there's a mount similar to this that's available commercially. But I wanted to be able to use my iPad and leave the rubber mount that's around it, the protective pad on, and not have to take that on and off every time I use it. So I made this mount specifically for my iPad with the mount across the outside. And I made it out by laminating sheets of thin birch plywood together, and then using the router I cut out the pattern and stuff that I needed to make this happen. So what's going to happen is I'm going to, in the console, I'll make a cutout that the shape of this, and then I'll mount this assembly on the back side of that and be able to use it while I'm flying. So, but I also I want to be able to take this iPad out of the aircraft when I'm not flying. I use it for logbook entries, for flight planning, for getting weather briefings, a whole bunch of activities related to flying. I use this device for. So when I built this, I put in rare earth magnets across the bottom of it that kind of hold it in place and locks it in place when it's in this position. And it's in there pretty solid. It has the corners of the frame that it's in kind of holds it in place. But when I want to take the thing out, what I do is I slide it to the left and peel out the corner of it like this. And it disconnects it from power. It's powered by the aircraft when this goes on. And then I have an audio cable because I get traffic alerts from my ADS-B in receiver if there's aircraft that are next to me, or when I'm entering a runway, it gives me voice prompts. So I send that audio information into my system, and so I hear it on the headsets. And so currently I have this Garmin Era 500 located on the right side, but I never really use the interface. The iPad is kind of covering it most of the time. I find that I really don't use it in the system, but there's a few functions that I plan on that I use now and that I plan on enhancing and using in the future. One of the things it gives me is it's used to calculate ground speed into my electronic instrument, so it gives me a wind vector, kind of a rough indication which way the wind's going. But in the future, I'm getting a new radio, getting a Garmin GTR 200, and that radio can hook to this Garmin GPS, and the Garmin GPS will tell it which frequencies are local around where I'm flying right now, and then I can tune in through the menu and quickly reach the frequency where I want to communicate on and select that frequency. So it'll be in the system, it'll be on all the time, but it'll be behind it, and then the iPad will be in front of it. So I connect this up, slide it back into its mount, rock it into place, and then slide it to the right, and it's connected to power again. And so there's a fan in the back of there that supplies air to the back of the iPad to keep it cool, and a little bit of air that goes across the Garmin. But neither of them really get that hot in the aircraft, so I don't have a lot of cooling issues with it. But so, and another thing I'm adding to this system too is an ADS-B out solution that will broadcast my GPS position to other aircraft around me and better resolve their position to the other planes that have equipment like mine, but it also other people that have this ADS-B in receiver stuff like I have right now, they're more likely to see me in a lot of situations. So hopefully it'll make flying a little bit safer. So and I'm in addition to that, I'm adding a carbon monoxide built-in device that's in the aircraft that'll give me voice prompts into the headset if there's a problem with carbon monoxide in the aircraft. And well, that's about it. I'll probably do more videos as my modifications progress. But